What's up, everybody? This is Connor, aka Euphoria, back with another video. Finally, took me a little while, longer than I wanted to, but kind of got some inspiration tonight. Wanted to go over some things for PUBG. So first up, I'm going to kind of just give a quick rundown of all of the stuff that's in patch number 19 for the PC version of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. So we're going to hop right into that. We do have some juicy information that just popped up last minute too that I'm going to include at the end of this, so stay tuned. Some really interesting stuff. I'm not sure what to make of it yet, so we'll go through it together. But anyways, these patch notes have been revised a few times, and I'm kind of going to go through these with a casual, semi-casual to competitive, semi-competitive standpoint. I'm no god at the game, obviously, but I do consider myself at least halfway decent, so this is going to be coming from somebody who plays the game casually but tries to win and learn as much as they can about the game. So let's jump into it without wasting any more time. So there's some mumbo jumbo in here about fixing bugs and a lot of things that they say a lot, and it's all empty promises, but there are a lot of great things going on in this patch. So first off, we got the gameplay changes. The bullet penetration is going to be implemented. That is one of the biggest things in this patch, I believe. So now whenever the bullets hit an arm or a hand, it's going to actually go through that and hit the next body part and give the actual damage. So if a hand ever blocks a face while somebody's running or something like that, you're going to get that headshot damage regardless. Now hands actually don't have any hitboxes anymore, from what I understand, and then the arms will have regular hitboxes, but then they'll go through to the chest or wherever else it ends up hitting. So a little stuff like this, I might just skip through some of this stuff, but like, exiting vehicles and holding the sprint key, you couldn't sprint before you had to stop and then hit it again. Just simple quality of life things like that are going to make the game a lot more smoother as well. If a teammate disconnects but is still alive in the game, other teammates couldn't see the game reward results. So I've never experienced that. I haven't played squads enough, probably, I guess. I play a lot of duos and solos, and I've never really had that issue. But for those of you who have, it's getting fixed, I guess. If a disconnected teammate reconnects to the game and finishes the game with better results, teammates will receive any additional rewards earned by that player. To prevent abuse, the other teammates cannot see the death cam until the player is included. The disconnected player have died. So obvious stuff there. Adjusted the position of the QBZ to feel more natural and less obstructive when seen from FPP. So that's going to be big. I did notice that the QBZ kind of looked a little bit off center, or maybe like a little bit too high on the screen. So I'm interested in seeing how that feels. Again, I haven't played the test server at all, so this is all brand new to me. I've read through the patch notes prior, but I haven't played on the server. Watched a little bit of stuff on Twitch, but haven't experienced it myself. When getting on a motorbike, if the driver's seat is empty, it's now much easier to enter the driver's seat. Thank goodness they finally figured that out. We don't want to be sitting on the back of bikes, so I don't know why that was ever a thing, but whatever. So they've changed the loading screen back from PGI. All that stuff's gone, the graffiti and everything, so we'll have some new graffiti probably, maybe soon. It might not be right away, but those will all be gone. So they've changed the UI for dropping things. So you're dropping ammo, you have a nice slider now. You can also drop things in stacks a lot quicker, so you can adjust it with the slider. Obviously you can alt key and then left mouse click will drop the whole stack, which you could already just drag and drop way faster than that, but it's whatever. Right mouse will now drop with alt key will now drop half the stack exactly, so 110 gives 55 in the drop there, which is kind of interesting. I don't know how often I'll use that, but it could come in handy, I'm sure. Weapon attachments and everything. So basically all this is saying is they finally figured out that when we have a full inventory, we don't want to have to go through and drag and pick things back up and all that mumbo jumbo. So now if you try to detach an attachment from your weapon by like right clicking it or whatever, and there's no room in your bag, it's just going to drop it on the ground. If you have something on the ground you want to pick up and attach to it, just drag it and attach in it. If you don't have room in your inventory, it'll swap them to the ground. So things like that, it's just going to make it a lot more smooth when you're trying to loot quickly, especially in those like top 10 situations where the circle's closing and you really got to loot this guy and you have one bag still because you didn't find a two or anything. So that's going to be a great improvement there. Let's see. So that's pretty much all that just goes through. Then we've got some changes to the team management screen here. So you'll see colors. You can, I don't know if you can choose your colors, can you? Colorblind settings have been improved. So this is an interesting thing. So the colorblind settings, they've changed all the red colors in the game to purple. So you can change that in your settings, and the blood and like reticles, certain reticles and things like that, and crate smoke will be purple, and it looks kind of sweet. So if you want to mess with it, I don't know if it gives a tactical advantage or not. The blood looked pretty bright, so that might be something to look into if you're looking for a tactical advantage, I guess. I like the blue blood just because it looks cool. I think they've tweaked it to where it's not really a big advantage now, especially on the greener maps. So I'm hoping that it's not going to be that big of an advantage, but if you like the color purple, it's cool. Yeah, you can also mute individual players on your team now. That's more for like when you're searching randoms. I don't do that a whole lot, but for those of you who do, that'll be nice when you get those annoying trolls. So teammates, when you're eliminated, you can now place markers on the map. That's a big one for me. It's always been very frustrating to not be able to tell somebody where you got shot from when you died. So that's going to be a big help there. Equipment's HUD now shows slot numbers for improved readability, whatever. I mean, that's probably just something you won't even really notice, but it may come in handy eventually. Kill feed will show your own personal knockouts now, which is huge because sometimes you get in those 1v1 situations and your team's away from you and you get knocked and you don't know if you finished the guy or not. If you knocked him or not, you don't know. Sometimes the UI doesn't pop up or whatever. I don't know. That should make that a lot better. Sharpening option has been added to graphics settings. So there's a lot of new graphics settings. You can actually set a max frame rate. You can do smoothing, which I'm not too sure how good that works. I'm going to need to see some testing on that or try it myself. I've heard a lot of bad things about that with input lag. So I'm not really sure if I'd recommend it right off, but definitely something to look into. Sharpening is interesting. If you can't, if you can't handle anti-aliasing being very high, that might be something to look into. It might help you out a little bit. Maybe spotting players will be a little bit better, and the game might look a little better. But I know if you crank the sharpening on anything, it kind of looks bad, in my opinion, really choppy. So it's definitely something you're going to want to have to check out for personal preference. You can move your mouse cursor to another monitor when the system... See, this already happened for me. I ended up having to go into my display settings or my monitor settings and like putting one monitor way up so that I didn't drag onto the other monitor while I was looting and on the map and things like that. So that was already a thing for me, but if those of you who want it to be a thing and it wasn't before, it is now. So there you go. Dynamic weather is being brought back to the older maps. Not brought back to, but brought to them, because before Erangel had static weather. It didn't have dynamic, and Miramar had none. So whatever, if the Erangel will have the overcast weather and the Miramar will have overcast and sunset, and they'll have rain and fog and all that crap. So it'll be interesting. I don't really know how I feel about it, but I know for the casual players, a lot of people like to play on those more. So they've added some new things to Erangel to make it a little bit better for like tactical situations. So they've added some house clusters in places that needed it, I guess. There's some more that I think that would have needed it more, like around Gatka fields maybe, but it's still cool. It's a good improvement. It's a good step in the right direction. They've also added more of these rocks on the coastline. So there's that as well. I don't know. I mean, if you ever got in a situation where you needed to go to Military Island and, you had to come up on this freaking empty beach and get sniped at from everywhere, now you have a couple of hills to work with and rocks and things like that. They've added more trees in an open area surrounding the Sozanovka military base, so that's stuff like this and a little bit closer to the base, I'm sure. I haven't actually looked into where they are exactly yet, but I've seen a couple videos and stuff of it, new compounds and trees and such. Miramar has also received more dirt roads. They said that before. I feel like it's still terrible to drive on, but hopefully this helps. And high slope sections of roads have been lowered to enhance vehicle effectiveness. Yeah, I don't know why there were some parts on that map that just chunked, but whatever. Additional custom match. So custom matches, I'm sure a lot of you have looked into that by now. I'm not going to go through every single thing here because it's brand new and there's a lot to it, but basically they've added full custom games settings for everybody to use now instead of just the partners. So yeah, go ahead and mess around in there if you want. If that's your jam, set up some custom games and take a look at what you can do in there. And you can do a lot to it already. So there's a lot to go through to fiddle with. So performance improvements, improved frame rate by optimizing weapons not currently held in hand. So, I mean, I don't know how big of an improvement that's going to, or not an improvement, but how big of an effect that's going to have. I mean, everything is good though, I guess, in terms of performance because the game needs it still after what? 8 months of it being out in full release, 7-8 months. So I mean, we'll take everything we can get. Level streaming has been enhanced to increase performance. Smoke and flames from vehicles have been optimized to improve frame rate. Fixed an issue where frame rate hitches would occur when environment effects created. Server performance has been improved. Blah, blah, blah. Network code. All this mumbo jumbo. If you want to read through more of it, I'll have the link in the description, and it'll be live tomorrow. Or by the time you watch this, probably today or yesterday or 5 weeks ago or whenever you discover it. But this is all just changes to hopefully improve the game. I haven't really heard a whole lot about that in terms of like the test server, how much it's helped performance. I heard good things, but I always hear good things when patches first come out. So we'll see how it plays out. They've decreased the volume of sounds for players inside vehicles in first person. That is bravo. Thank you, Lord. Do it with the plane and the red zone and everything else too. But that's a great step. First person is very loud inside the vehicles. I have to mute the game almost every time I get in a vehicle to talk to my teammates. So replay system has been updated to a newer version. All the past ones are gone. So if you had any replays that you wanted to go back to, I'm sorry. I guess I feel like they should have gave more of a warning for that, but whatever. They work in mysterious ways. They also fixed an issue where war mode, esports mode replays were not saved successfully. So war mode and esports mode are not even a thing right now. It was only a 1 weekend thing, I believe, an event mode thing, but it'll probably be back. Hopefully they bring back the esports mode as a playlist itself. That would be wicked. Maybe solo version and duo version as well, but whatever. We'll get over it. So bug fixes. Fix issues where destroying doors with grenades and molotovs did not display debris. Whatever. Issue where some free-falling characters appeared to be locked in default free-fall animation. This is all just little stuff, really. Let me see if I can find any of the big stuff, though. So the breath gauge might have been a big thing. It didn't appear in the killer spectating. Not really a big thing, I guess. If you're just a spectator, it doesn't really matter. Spectating a PvP showed inaccurate character locations, so that's kind of a big deal, I guess. Just the quality of life for the spectator mode. Issue where a player had been disconnected and reconnected could voice chat with the player he or she is spectating through killer spectating if his or her team was eliminated while the player was disconnected. So that's interesting. You could talk to somebody on a different team, I guess. A lot of these I've never even experienced. So fixed an issue where leaning was possible while in an emote. Who cares? An issue where two players moving in a small space could sometimes get stuck. That happens to me and my duo partner a lot. So that's cool. Fixed an issue where the reporting screen message in spectator mode was displayed in English only. Fixed an issue where player names weren't displayed correctly in the death cam. That's a big deal if you're trying to report somebody. Fixed an issue where the limb penetration system was not applied properly. So that's more to the test server, I believe, because that needs to be good for the live server that's hopefully going live tonight and should work properly. They fixed the issue where the dots on SMGs was not being able to change. I don't know why that happened. I don't know how they fucked it up so bad. But I'm glad they're fixing that because I miss being able to do that on SMGs. I've been purposely not using them because of that. And then fixed an issue where throwables could pass through character models. I'm sorry. So that's a big deal. You hit somebody in the face with a grenade and it goes right through them. That's kind of feels bad. Yeah, so they've updated a few things since then. So on 8.1 they updated the position of the QBZ, like they said earlier, and the getting on the motorbike. So these actually might be the ones that were already in the thing we read earlier. They just added them to the bottom as well to make sure that we all caught them, which I believe is the case. The newest ones being these ones here. Go ahead and pause it if you want to read through those. I'm not going to read through everything again. But yeah, so I'll link in the description all of these, the patch notes and everything. And then we've actually got one more thing that popped up last minute, right as I was getting ready to make this video. I checked Twitter to get this link, and then I found this tweet from PUBG called Fix PUBG, and it is a new roadmap that they've released for basically everybody who's constantly complaining about the game being in a really poor state. They are going to fix the game over the coming months, apparently, based off of our feedback. We'll see how that goes. Fingers crossed, but let's check it out. So basically this is a roadmap of what they're planning on fixing and when in the next 3 months. I don't know what these colors mean. Maybe there's some kind of priority, but I would think the priority would be, this location marker. I don't know, so take it with a grain of salt. But my take on it is that they're saying client performance will be character optimization will be improved in October, so has a lower importance to them, but it is going to get fixed by October, quote unquote. Effect optimization by September, and level streaming optimization by the end of August. So that's cool. I mean, all the performance enhancements and stuff we can get, the better, in my opinion. I don't think anybody would disagree, but we know from the past how PUBG's been that we may or may not actually see these things happen, but fingers crossed again. Server performance, this one's bright yellow, so I imagine that means something, or maybe it's just a way to differentiate the three, but I don't know why they'd use gray. I don't know. They're PUBG. Optimization based on server performance profiling will be done by October. Network code optimization by October as well, and then replication interleaving. I'm not sure what this really doubles up here for, but they're going to finish that by August, and then character movement optimization by September. Parachute movement optimization and airplane sequence optimization as well. So they're kind of just making the beginning of the game a little bit smoother, especially when you're exiting that plane and first landing, which is great because there's desync issues and everything that just constantly frustrates people. So that's a great thing if they can get that fixed. Anti-cheat, implementing combined anti-cheat solution. They already have so much, so I hope that maybe what this is they're consolidating it all. I don't know. We'll see. Combined makes me think that might be what they're doing, and that's going to be by October. So we'll see. Report result notification system by the end of August. Whatever. It's cool. Legal action against cheating program developers and resellers by mid-October. So, I mean, cheating is really annoying, but I don't really encounter that much. I'm sure a lot of you do, so I'm not going to discredit that. So this is probably a bigger deal than I realize it is, and some of you probably too, but it's not going to slow anything else down. They have specific teams for this kind of stuff. And then matchmaking, we all care about that, right? Faster and smarter matchmaking by October. I don't know what that means. I don't know what they're going to be doing, but cool. More power to you. And then bug fix and quality of life issues, fixing bugs and tackling quality of life issues throughout the campaign. That should be never ending. They should have put a nice little infinity symbol there because we knew whether or not they told us that was going to always be a thing, which is fine as long as they're paying attention to the issues and everything and really working with the community. That's great. So then they have this little thing down here, and you can click on whichever part of it. I'll link this as well in the description. You can click on whatever little part you want to read on about, and they have a little bit of verbiage here to explain what they're going to be trying to fix and stuff. So this is actually interesting. I haven't looked at this much yet. So the average FPS for players has been seen improvements since Q1 of 2018. About 60 FPS on minimum systems and 80 FPS on recommended. The problem is that FPS would intermittently drop under 60 about every 10 seconds on average, which significantly harms your experience. Yes, it does. Recommended system requirements. Yeah, look at that. That's okay. I don't want to look at this for too long. It's going to make me sick. Server performance. You can click on all this stuff. Again, I'll link it. I'm not going to go through everything because there's a lot to read. So there's even Xbox information. I didn't realize that. The road to 1.0. So that's cool for all of you Xbox users if you watch through this whole video. But yeah. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and read into this yourselves. If you have anything you want to talk about in chat with me, anything I got wrong, I read over wrong. I'm sure I read something wrong along that whole thing. But I am very hopeful for the game. I still love it a lot, play it very regularly, and I hope the best for it. I really do. But there are a lot of issues that I hope they do clear up. I'm hoping patch 19 makes the game feel a lot smoother, and I'm really looking forward to trying out the bullet physics and everything, or not the bullet physics, but limb penetration and all that stuff. So I'll see y'all tomorrow on the battlegrounds maybe, or if not, we'll try to do a new video in the next week or so. Maybe I'll do something showcasing one of the new updates in this patch, trying out some different things here and there. But in the meantime, if you're not already following me on Twitch, I do stream on there as well. Euphoria Live is my name, EU4I, the number 4 IALIVE. If you do want to follow, and I'll gladly help your channel grow as well if you're a fellow streamer. So just give me a shout out. Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram all are just Euphoria Live that same way. So thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day, night, morning, whatever it may be, and we'll see you next time.